Hi, friends. Do you choose a word of the year? I know I talked about that last year in episode 119. So if you don't know what word of the year is, or you don't know how to create a word of the year, I go through the whole process as I did that last year, like right before the first of the year or right at the beginning of the first of the year. So if you're interested in that, please go back. But so 2 years ago, I had the word of the year intentional because I was just getting ready to retire and then I was going to go into this business. And so I wanted to be intentional about all the choices I made and the actions that I took in order to get my retirement going and then getting this business started. Then last year, I picked the word focus because sometimes as I was building my business, I would notice that I would just flit all around to all these different things that sounded fun because I love learning and I love creating. And so I was just all over the place with things. And I realized I needed to focus more on my business and what, specific goals and tasks that I was doing in my business. So this year, I have decided to choose the word challenge. So I wanted to tell you about it because I think it's really good to have a word of the year and what it can do for you. But I wanted to tell you, why I chose challenge and kind of what it means to me. So this is how I am defining it. Testing oneself and facing obstacles. This word highlights the importance of pushing boundaries and confronting difficulties. It's about stepping outside your comfort zone and taking on new risks. So in my business, I'm still trying to build it up and have more clients and get more listeners and get more people paying attention to my YouTube channel. So I have to keep trying new things and going kind of against these obstacles that come up and like, how can I get over them and what new things can I try, and getting out of my comfort zone. In a couple of hours, I'm going to try my first Facebook Live with slides. And it's kind of a confusing process and I don't even know if it's going to work right. And I feel a little bit scared about it, but I'm also like, you know what? I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to say ahead of time what's going on because what I want to do is I want to show my slides, talk about them, and then I want to come on and just be me without the slides. But when I practiced it yesterday, the slides like when I get out of sharing my slides, it just turns the live off. So I'm going to have to figure out, I think I'm just going to tell the people watching, I want to talk to you personally and answer your questions, but I'm going to do, if this stops, just stay on this Facebook page because I will come back on live, without the slides. So I think I'm going to try that, but that's a challenge. That is something that I'm going to challenge myself to do things that are scary or awkward or learn new things constantly so that this business can be built and more people will know about what I'm doing. So also, challenge can be a great antidote to anxiety. So I wanted to show how me challenging myself is something that you could try, and you don't have to pick the word challenge, but challenging yourself, challenging your comfort zone, challenging your boundaries, challenging obstacles are all ways that you can actually face your anxiety and move through it instead of avoiding it. Because a lot of times when those challenges come up or those obstacles, you just want to hide or do something else. But I'm saying challenge yourself to move forward and go right into it. It's like the firefighter running right into the fire to, save the people or do whatever. They're afraid of that. That's scary to do, but they do it because it's helpful for their work. When you challenge yourself to go against those obstacles or to get out of your comfort zone, you actually start proving to yourself that you are capable of going into those things and surviving. It doesn't mean that it's not scary. It doesn't mean that you don't have anxiety or fear going into it. It just means that once you do it and you make yourself go through that feeling, and you process that feeling, on the other side, you're like, oh, that didn't kill me. I'm still here. I can still do other things. Also, stepping outside of your comfort zone is something that you have to do in your life in order to be as fulfilled in your career, in relationships, in everything. And if you can start doing that as a teenager and learning like different ways that you can go about that, then you're just going to be set up for so much more success in your life, and not just in careers, but in school and in relationships. Think about when you do have a crush on someone and you want to, date them. It's so scary to go up to them or to send them a message or to find out, because they might say, oh no, I don't like you, or I don't want to have anything to do with that. And so some people never ask those people when it could actually become a relationship. I have not ever had a problem with that. I've usually been a little more too forward in that area where I was like chasing boys around. I remember my mom getting so mad at me because I was chasing boys into the bathroom. Hey, do you want to go out with me or whatever? So that didn't, I guess, bother me as much as it does some people. But I think about, and of course, most boys said no because I was so weird about it. I got better and found the right people, but it is, if you want to have a fulfilled life, you're going to have to put yourself out there where it's uncomfortable. I have asked different people, and I'm doing this even more, like I'm asking some more famous people to maybe be on their podcast or for them to be on my podcast. Now they're probably going to say no to me, but that's okay because I tried. And what if one of them decides, like what if the email comes in on just the right day where they're feeling generous and they're like, I'm going to have this nobody be on my podcast. So I don't know. I'm going to try it, and it's not going to kill me. If they say no to me or they never speak to me, which is probably what's going to happen, that doesn't change anything about my life, and it could make it good. So it's always important to be pressing against those comfort zones. Also, second semester is the perfect time to start fresh. We talked about that last week, that it doesn't have to be the first of the year or the first of the semester. You can have a fresh start any day you want to. And so maybe you're listening to this on some obscure day, which is fine, because today could be the day that you start facing some of those fears and start facing your comfort zone and stretching it out a little bit. Being a teenager is difficult because you have your school stuff, the academics, you have the social pressures and the social media stuff that's going on. You have all these questions like, well, who am I even going to be? Where am I going to go to school? What am I going to study? Who's my life partner going to be? I mean, it is a constant challenge to be a teenager. And so you don't have to like try to find challenges. They're all over the place. And so I want to teach just ways to deal with those challenges. And then the ways that work for you now are going to be perfect for when you're an adult. You're still going to have challenges. I still have challenges. That's why I picked challenge for my word at 55. Like I still have things that I have to overcome. I still have comfort zones I need to push. And it's just going to open up new opportunities for me, which I'm so excited about. So when you face your fears, whether it's speaking up in class or trying out for a sports team or starting a new club or just starting a conversation with somebody that you're interested in, you build up this resilience to be able to do more and more uncomfortable things, which unlocks your hidden strengths. And you can find out how amazing your life can be, and you don't even know it yet. I talk about, and I think I talked about this in my last episode, where one of my clients was like, I didn't want to work with you because I didn't think, how is this person going to help me? And her life is totally changed. She said, I don't even recognize myself anymore, in a good way. Like, I thought I was where I was supposed to be then, and now I'm 100 times better than that. So I think that about my own life. Like, I love my life right now, but what if this is just the bottom? What if it can go so much more and I won't know if I don't push it? So when you're struggling with anxiety, I know that your brain is telling you, don't do it. You're going to fail. People aren't going to like you. That happens to me every time I turn this camera on. My brain tells me, this is so stupid. People don't care. Nobody wants to hear this. Or when I put a social media post out, my brain likes to tell me, nobody wants this. Nobody's going to listen, whatever. And I know that anxiety is huge. I hear about it from so many people, and I can help you with that. And so I'm just like, well, this is a mission. Like, I am going to talk about it every day until the people that need to have this message, the people that need help with their anxiety, they're going to find me and they're going to work with me. And you can forward this on to people. Like, maybe you don't have anxiety, but tell someone else who does. Like, I'm sure you know friends who are struggling. Send the video to them. Send the podcast to them. Send them to my website, whatever it is, so that they can start finding out what they could do, what their opportunities are. And I have created this program called the Anxiety Maze Navigator. And it's perfect because my podcast is the Teen Anxiety Maze. And I've created an Anxiety Maze Navigator for you to go through and find out what exactly are your specific anxiety triggers, what you can do about them. And then you also learn about your strengths, your interests, your values, and your preferred skills, and how you can use all of that stuff that's unique to you in managing your anxiety. I cannot wait until I'm going to have more and more of my clients come on and tell you about this. And in a couple weeks, I'm also going to have my daughter come back on. She was on a long time ago, and we talked about bullying, because she had a lot of bullying experiences when she was young. But now she's going to talk about her anxiety. And you'll probably find out some things that I didn't do so well, where it was as being her mother dealing with her anxiety. So this year, I'm embracing all the challenges. And I encourage you to embrace all the challenges that are going to come up in this semester, over the summer, next year, 10 years from now, in the next hour, whatever it is. And I'm going to be doing the same thing. And if you decide to choose a word of the year, I would love it if you would get on social media and either comment on this video, comment on my podcast, comment on social media when I post things about what your word is, or what your challenges are, or how you're overcoming the challenges. All of that stuff could be so amazing, and you could be encouraging other people with your own overcoming challenges. Because every time that I work with someone who also struggles with the same thing I do, I'm like, oh, thank goodness I'm not the only one. And you're not the only one. Everyone has anxiety. I've said that so many times. I just want to make sure nothing has gone wrong because you have anxiety. It's just some people, their brains manage it a little bit better. And I teach you how to manage it so that you can be one of those people you look over and say, oh, well, they have it all figured out and they know what they're doing. You'll be somebody that other people look at and say, oh, well, look, she's got it all figured out. And we don't all ever have it all figured out. I don't have it all figured out, but I have it figured out enough that my life feels pretty amazing. And I want you to have it figured out enough that you're going to enjoy getting up every day. You're going to tolerate school. I'm never going to say you're going to enjoy school, because most people are not going to enjoy it, but you can tolerate it and you can go to it and feel okay about it. So I just want you to either come up with the word of the year that you're going to use, or even just tell me about the challenges that you're overcoming and work with me. It works so much better if you're working with another person to help you through these things, and I want to be the person. So contact me on social media, go to my website. There's ways to sign up to have a consult with me. I want to help you with your anxiety, and we're going to make 2024 amazing. Talk to you soon.